I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Eureka. Welcome to the Man Listen Show. But before we get started, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
DD's Daiquiris is your #1 supplier of premium daiquiri mixes. You will love the taste of our classic margarita and signature strawberry mixes. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at DD's Daiquiris. DD is spelled DEEDEE. You can also find us at www.dd'sdaiquiris.com. DD's Daiquiris, giving good vibes to good people, one good drink at a time.
Please buy the new book by Eureka Nicole Moore, Diabolical Tales of Woe. Diabolical Tales of Woe is a thrilling collection of short horror stories that leave you in an excited trepidation to see what will happen next. Prepare to face one horrific encounter after the next in this captivating novel. You can find this book on Amazon in the Kindle and paperback version. That is Diabolical Tales of Woe by Eureka Nicole Moore.
More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services offers individual and relationship counseling as well as mediation services to the community. At More Grace, healthy partnerships are valuable and beneficial. Please visit the website www.moregracecounseling.com for more information about our approach to counseling. More Grace Counseling and Mediation Services, where we offer more grace and more healing.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can also subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you tell others to follow the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. Texas, my current home state. They've been wilding out in Texas, y'all. So today, there was a couple things that happened. Primarily, well, they all kind of screwed up. But number one, they passed where you don't have to have a permit to carry a firearm on your hip anymore. I don't know if that means if it has to be open. I think you still may need to have a license to carry concealed. I may be wrong on that, you know.
No, you don't. You don't.
So basically, as long as you don't have any restrictions, you know, I guess like maybe not a felony or whatever, you can carry. You can carry in the state.
Wild West.
Wild West down here, right? So, you know.
Is that new?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment, but you know, we'll see how that goes. But also the Democrats, our state Democrats, they had left the state. They were trying to block some of the restrictive voting measures that Governor Rollaway, and you know, I say that every week, but y'all can research why I call him Governor Rollaway. Him and the state Republicans tried to put into place. What they were doing was they would leave the state and they would try to stay away so there wasn't a quorum. But finally, I guess they gave up. And, you know, one of the main people that gave up was a Black woman, which I was very disappointed in. And they passed some of the most restrictive voting laws that the country has seen, just because they knew that they don't want Texas turning like Georgia. So when you look at Houston, you look at Dallas, you look at San Antonio, you look at the rise of Hispanics in the state of Texas, it's just a matter of time before this state turns blue. And during the last presidential election, there was a lot of different things, like in Harris County, which is Houston, Texas, they allowed drive-in voting. So people didn't have to leave their cars to vote. So anything like that makes it more easy for people to vote, Republicans want to try to restrict it because they know that's going to lean towards Democrats. So that's one thing. We'll probably address that some other time. We'll get, some constitutional experts in on that. Our topic tonight is the laws that have been passed that are pretty much banning abortion in this state. And there's people on both sides of the aisle who have their opinions on abortion, whether you be pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. But it's pretty crazy what Texas has decided to do, and really kind of downright nefarious how they went about making it happen. So we want to talk about that. I mean, I know people have different opinions, and we just, unfortunately, C's not with us right now because we definitely, if you want to talk about abortion, you need to have women giving their opinion because they're the ones who are carrying the babies. She may join us later, but right now, Arika's going to be the voice of the women on the show, and Lav and I will give our opinion, however much that means. But so basically, and it's real nefarious, and Arika, you can weigh in on this. This law is called SB1. It basically bans abortions for women who are 6 weeks into their pregnancy. And for most of us who are adults, at 6 weeks, you don't really know if you're pregnant or not. You're just a little pregnant by that time. So really, it's really being restrictive. And the crazier part about this is who it puts in power. It doesn't put the government in power to restrict abortions. It puts private citizens. It gives them the power to basically harass and to make it to where individuals who are aiding women that want to have an abortion, or doctors or clinics, anybody that wants to assist in a woman, taking control of her reproductive rights, they are liable to be sued because of this law. So when you see this, Arika, what do you think?
Well, I think a lot of things. So, of course, as a lawyer, my first mind is the courts are going to be overrun with lawsuits, because why wouldn't you sue? That's one of the major barriers to filing a lawsuit, is having privity with the other people involved, right? There's got to be some type of connection between you and the person that you're suing before you can just sue. They've removed that requirement. So now I can say, oh, Johnny was the Uber driver that took Susie to go get an abortion. He aided and abetted her. And now I can sue him. And Johnny ain't never met me, seen me a day in his life. And now he has to defend himself against me. He don't know what the heck Susie was about to go do. Why is he responsible for, any part that's played in it? But why wouldn't a person sue if they think they can get $10,000 or whatever? And let you be somebody with two nickels to rub together, because you thinking the individual doesn't have that much money, but who does have money? Insurance companies. So who should be really rallying against this is the insurance companies, because they know they're going to get hit the hardest. But you take that into account, and then you go healthcare workers and clergy. Well, clergy have the same type of legal shield that attorneys have. And so if this woman tells somebody that she's about to go have an abortion, and they advise her of a place that they know is safe, and then somebody sues them, and then they're required to testify that this woman who told them something in private, in something that's considered, something that can't be reported, then you've opened up these floodgates that just cannot be closed, especially not without addressing each of these individual lawsuits. And anytime that you put this type of unbridled power into the hands of these citizens, we're going to have Karens and Chads out the wazoo. And that's my attempt to not cuss, so we don't get banned anywhere. But these Karens and Chads are going to be going crazy, just suing people for no reason. But as a woman, I think it's ridiculous, because one, I think that if you force a woman to have a baby that she doesn't want, we run the risk of having babies who are drug addicted, who are disabled because they're not receiving proper care, or who are just abused and not cared for. But let's take it a step further. As a sexual assault victim, if you think that I'm going to have this person's baby, I will tell you from experience, I am not. I most certainly am not. And if you take away my right to go to a safe space, I'm going to take care of it myself. And then who this disproportionately hurts is us, people of color, because we're not going to have access to the rich, fancy doctors who are treating celebrities or Bezos' wife or whoever. We're going to be over in the East St. Louis shoddy clinic that's killing half of the people that's there. You cannot prevent abortion. The only thing you can do is prevent safe abortions. And it's ridiculous for the government to even try to institute something so invasive as to invite neighbors to spy on their own neighbors and then try to report them to get a $10,000 reward. How many false accusations, how many false claims, how many invasions of privacy, how many people staring in the windows or saying, hey, you got chunky this day and then you look less chunky this day. There's so much that goes into a pregnancy and familial relationships. So let's say I'm confiding in a friend and then I tell them, hey, I decided not to go through with it. And then they report me because they need $10,000.
Because it only says it doesn't have to be you went through with it. Even if you're assessing or just thinking about it, they can, you look at it.
If you've even located a place.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you're a whistleblower.
Like if somebody like you talk, like say you go for a consultation, you could be sued.
And they're like, oh no, this is only directed at the healthcare providers. The only way to get to the healthcare providers is through the patient. Well, that's the only way.
There's a couple things, there's a lot of things that we need to unpack. And the first one, you hinted at it. And thank you for, being open and vulnerable about that topic. But rape and incest aren't even exceptions to this. Rape and incest aren't exceptions. Now there's some, if it's medical, if there's a medical reason why the woman can't carry a child to term, and I don't know what those medical reasons are, but rape and incest aren't included. And to me, we know what it's about. We know what this is about. We can see the numbers. The white population is dwindling. They're becoming less and less. They aren't producing children to overcome the rate that they are dying. So that's
they abort them.
Well, they abort them and they just dying off. They're dying off for a whole lot of reasons. And so
or they're mixed now.
The kids, they grandbaby mix. I be the pappy, but
right.
The piece of it is that's why we're seeing them go after the court system. They're trying to stack the courts, because let's not forget the whole reason why this happened is because the Supreme Court didn't even make a decision on it. So basically they just go through.
Well,
so
see,
but go ahead, Lab. So
that was going to be
these measures to stack the courts so that anything that comes up to ban abortion, voting rights, or whatever, they got people that are on their ideological plane who can say, no, we can't even hear that. That's not even something that we want to hear. You want to talk about eviction rights? No, that's unconstitutional. That's unconstitutional. So they don't even have to win an election. They just got to stack these courts enough so that they can manipulate things to go their way. But go ahead, Lab.
No, I was going to say, and Arika was talking about it. You have to have some kind of standing or some kind of relationship before you can file a lawsuit. Typically, wouldn't that? I mean, something like that has to, if somebody brought that against if they took it to the Supreme Court, surely that's not a partisan issue. That's just strictly law 101 that would have to be unconstitutional, right?
You would think, but we have several states, Texas, California, New York, Florida, always Florida, that just do their own thing. And so when you have these states that carry a big stick because you've allowed them to have so many representatives, so much voter weight when it comes to elections, politicians are less willing to interfere with their state rulings. Because so the federal government is really not supposed to interfere with state, business, only if they find it to be unconstitutional. Well, like Marv said, all they got to do is just not hear it. We're not saying it's constitutional. We're not saying it's not constitutional. What we're saying is we just don't want to be involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you leave it out there like that, it's kind of like sitting on the fence. So we haven't said you're right, we haven't said you're wrong. So if it comes down to it, if this really blows up and the courts are overwhelmed and we see a lot of evidence where a bunch of people are dying and stuff, then we're going to go, whoa, this is unconstitutional. But they knew from the jump that having no standing to bring a case, like you said, that's literally law 101. Like, I cannot just sue the state of Missouri. Like, I can sue as a taxpayer, but let's say I can't sue the state of Kansas and say, hey, that I can't sue Texas and say, hey, that abortion law is unconstitutional. Why? Because I'm not a citizen of Texas. We have no relationship whatsoever. I can't just decide that I want to have a relationship legally with an entity that's never dealt with me. And so when you allow people to sue people that, one, they've never met, two, they've never seen, and three, you have to prove not just all the elements of a claim, you have to prove damages. How have you been harmed by this woman having an abortion?
Right.
What,
Going to a consultation, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I need $10,000 because I'm harmed, because I'm religious, I'm a Jesus freak, and now I need $10,000 because this woman went to go see a doctor. How? That's not how our law system is supposed to work. And then when you keep undermining our legal system, like they've done, what you do is you provide momentum for the people that say that our legal system doesn't work. Now you've undermined the entire legal system just by saying, hey, one of these major canons that people learned in law school day one is just completely undermined by the state because they've just decided anybody can have standing to sue anybody in the world for any reason because I caught you going to the doctor.
I didn't hear about, I'll be honest with you, I didn't hear about this until last night. I got an update on my phone, so I didn't really get a chance to dive deep. Seriously, the part about, I'm probably not gonna get past the part about just any private citizen can sue just some rando Uber driver. Like you said, he has no clue. He's dropping somebody out. He's trying to feed his family. He's trying to make money. He drops somebody off somewhere or pick them up from somewhere or whatever. That's totally ridiculous.
And I've never gotten a woman pregnant. I've never, I've been around some abortion clinics, helping people out that I know throughout my life. And, I haven't been to every single abortion clinic, but there's always people out there protesting and, trying to just make it difficult for the women who are already, clearly going through a difficult time. If they're contemplating, hey, listen, I'm going to terminate this pregnancy. So these people who are fanatical enough to sit out here and badger people who are making the decision that's right for them, you're giving them an incentive to be even more crazy. That's a problem. But it goes back to what I've always said about Republicans and why, even though I don't really rock with everything that the Democrats do, I definitely don't rock with the Republicans do either. I wish Steve was on the show so we could mess with her, but she got kind of hot last episode, so I ain't gonna do that. But here's the thing about the Republicans, and Erika alluded to this. You talked about, okay, you're going to force women to have babies, and how many of them aren't taking prenatal vitamins or going through the steps they need to do, and that baby end up being born with like autism or some other type of condition that impacts their ability to live what we consider a normal life. What about children who are born into poverty? abusive situations, children that are born, into rape. It just so many negative things that could happen, right? Republicans, they always talk about life, how important life is. But the importance of that life stops once that baby is born. You don't want to go along with those parents who are struggling to try to provide for them and say, hey, listen, we're going to protect you with this eviction moratorium. You don't want to go along with these people who say, listen, I can't even work one job and still provide for my family. You don't want to raise the minimum wage, right? You don't want to do that. You want to attack all the things that provide that social net, that security for the children once they're born. But while they're still in the womb, oh, life is life. We can't, go against life. It's the most important thing there is. But as soon as that baby is born, you don't have nothing to do with it. So you're only pro-life when it matters for you. When it matters for, okay, we're gonna protect these white babies. You white girls, you need to stop having these abortions because we're getting outnumbered. That's really what, in my opinion, that's what it is. But after they're born, nah, you Negroes, you Mexicans, you Latinos, whatever, y'all figure it out. And that's, to me, the biggest hypocrisy of the Republicans.
They are not pro-life. They are pro-birth. Because once that baby is born, they have no concerns for how that baby's going to live. They don't care about babies in the system not being adopted. They don't care about these children in the system not being adopted. These people aren't out here being foster parents. These people aren't doing anything but protesting outside of Planned Parenthood on whatever day they choose to. It's ridiculous. And it's like, I don't think that people really understand like how traumatic it is to like go through something like that. And so like me and Brandon, we were like, oh, we're in love. We're going to be having lots of sex. We should start, getting on birth control or something like that. Well, the school didn't tell us that it takes 30 days for the birth control to start working. So we got the birth control and we got it in. And then we got pregnant like right away. And we're like, wait a minute, we were being responsible. We didn't, we followed all the rules. His mom was super supportive. My parents were like, our child's going to be a lawyer one day. I don't know about your kid, but we're taking her to the spot. Quick, fast. It's the only thing I see my parents do together was drive me to the spot almost against my will. And it's like, and to have protesters out there, and I'm in here boohoo crying and everything, and they're just like, you're a terrible person. I was like, I know. I was like, this is a horrible experience. I'm like, and you don't even, you don't care about what happens to me after today. You just want to be a part of today, where you get to criticize me and talk about how I'm making the wrong decision or how my parents are, negatively influencing me. But what we don't do is any type of mental health for these people, any type of financial assistance, or like those people that are turned away by the protesters or that are, persuaded to, jump into this situation by protesters. Then you criticize them for being welfare moms or being on food stamps and stuff like that. Be like, well, you made me have the baby and now I'm trying to feed the baby and you mad because I get WIC? You mad because I'm getting free milk and eggs? Like, we have such a weird society where we're like, this bootstrap mentality. Oh, pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, but they didn't. Yeah. Like, there's not a white person on this planet that pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. Like, they've got grandma and grandpa leaving them life insurance, where people like Malcolm X's family is getting swindled out of their life insurance after they killed his dad. Like, oh, it was suicide. How I run myself over with a train, like, or whatever. Right. It's ridiculous how they've literally been spoon-fed their whole lives, and it's coming back for people of minorities, people of color, and trying to negatively impact our lives with their judgment and rules and stuff like that.
That's what they do, because even though it negatively impacts us, the one thing about Republicans that I know is they play the long game. They play the long game. And this is
Mhm.
definitely the long game. But let me ask y'all this.
There,
This might get a little controversial. So and feel free to say you're gonna decline the answer. But there are those in the Black community that call, abortion like Black genocide. They say it's Black genocide and they're against it. Me personally, I am somebody who is pro-choice. I'm pro-choice, but I'm pro-life. And so if it's up to me, I feel like, we should have that baby. Unless there's extenuating circumstances like, rape, incest, something crazy. I'm pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice. And I'm also smart enough to know as a man that it's not my decision. It's the woman's decision. Most of y'all know I've written a book, Mythbusters, Lessons from Active Black Fathers. And one of the things that I talk about is valuing your seed and protecting your seed. Because once that seed is implanted in the woman, as a man, you don't have no control. You don't have no control. She has that baby. You really don't have no control on how much you see that baby. You don't have no control over like the money you paying. All that's into the court system. So I'm pro-choice, I'm pro-life, but I also understand that it ain't my choice. It's the woman's, because she's the one that has to carry that baby. Hey, what they say, mama's baby, daddy's baby. That's it. That's where it is. So I don't necessarily believe, the whole Black genocide thing. I think people need to do what's best for them, especially when we have, like you said, Arika, we got so many children that need to be adopted. So many children need to be adopted and need a good home. So many children that are being, abused and molested that, we can try to find them in a better home. And to bring more into that situation, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's it's not what it doesn't align with my values. But what do y'all think? How does it align for the Black community in your opinion? I know that's a kind of a question, but what's your opinion on the whole abortion thing?
Man, Marv, I'm gonna echo you. I mean, personally, I'm pro-life. I would not. I mean, unless something totally unexpected happened, yeah, we gonna have that kid, right? But I also respect that the way the society is in place right now, because all the things like Arika talked about. But if you have the kid, there's no support for you there. You're ostracized in certain situations. There's a mental health aspect to it as well. I mean, people say it's a mental health aspect to having an abortion. Now, I'm sure it's a mental health aspect to if you have the child and give it up for adoption. That has to be a huge mental hurdle to get over as well. Or I can't imagine being a mom who has a kid and feels like she can't provide enough for her kid, or she feels inadequate, that she, that all those things come into play. So but for me, yeah, I'm pro-life. I mean, not just pro-birth. I mean, I think we've talked about it before. I mean, I'm against the death penalty too, though. So, it's one of those deals where I'm talking about from the beginning to the end. That's just how I am. That's
the one thing where we're gonna disagree on, because your boy Dylan Roof, who killed them 9 beautiful people in South Carolina, they about to give him the whatever it is, whether it's the fire range, the gas change, whatever it is,
all of them.
He gotta go. He gotta go.
But,
they used to call it judicial homicide. Like, who is the person that you designate to murder other people?
Right.
And then can you trust that person in the world? Like, it's a never-ending circle.
They would have like 5 people, and one of them would have live rounds, and the other ones wouldn't. So you don't know they don't know who killed them, right?
One of y'all is a murderer.
Yeah. But
are you a murderer?
And they used to rotate guillotine.
Or are you carrying out justice?
You're a murderer.
Yeah, I'm pro-life.
Who's supposed to carry out justice? Christians. I'm supposed to be the wicked one who doesn't believe in these things. Y'all out here like exacting justice.
That's one thing for me. And as growing up as a Christian in a Christian church, being a Christian, that's one thing that I will. I mean, I don't believe in the death penalty. Most probably everybody in my church does, though, probably. So
I tell you this.
Well,
I'm not.
I question Christians daily.
I'm not about the tough talk. I've had family members murdered, right? And as a man, you like to think I would like to avenge my family member. I would like to get justice. But I'm not about that life. I'm not trying to go to prison. I'm not trying to go to jail. I want justice the right way. I want it to go through the legal system. And if that means that, okay, whatever they've done is so heinous that they deserve to, lose their life, that's fine. What that man did to those people in South Carolina, he deserves to go. And that's my opinion. He got to go. He got to go. You know what I mean? And I'd watch it. I would popcorn. I think the people that raided the Capitol, I was sitting there saying, shoot them, shoot them all, because they would have did the same to us. I'm a natural man. If you hit,
but you gonna kill him over walking into a building?
Listen. If you hit me, I know what the good Christian thing to do. That you hit me, I'll turn the other cheek. You hit me, I'm gonna try my best to bust your ass. I'm gonna try.
Do you know what the good Christian thing to do is?
This is the thing.
Yeah, that's what they say. But listen, here's the thing. I'll be the first one to say I believe in God. I'm a Christian. I give all things due to Jesus for everything I got. But don't look to me for an example, because I do a lot.
He understands.
I'll cuss you out.
But see,
that's not how this works.
That's
not how any of this works.
I like
this the thing.
You know what I'm saying? So
no.
Yeah.
But this is the thing too, though. So I'm coming back to this because you also mentioned about how there are people, and I've heard it in the church. That's one of the things they say. Abortion is black genocide. In the black church, they throw that out there as well. But at the same time, when it comes to the death penalty thing, you also look at the percentages of exonerated people on death row. Yes. I would bet 90% of them are black men.
It's all
bet. And so I can't trust. In theory, the death penalty, I understand, but in action in this country, in the United States of America, how it's been put into practice, I can't trust the judicial system to carry it out effectively or honestly.
Fairly.
So that's another reason. Yeah, or fairly. That's another reason why I don't believe in it.
You make a good point. You make a good point, and I can't.
Only point.
I can't disagree with that, because you're right.
You're
right.
They kill us all the time, and they're like, "Oh, he was innocent."
Guess what? I mean, they just had it yesterday. It was like 7. I think it was 7 black men who, and it was 7 black men who were executed for a rape that they didn't commit. I mean, it just came across my newsfeed. So what y'all saying is right. And I'm not trying to, I can't, counter that. All I'm saying is, guys like Dylan Roof, people who commit atrocities versus us, they got to go. And I know what you said, Erika. You said the other day when we were talking about Cosby and everybody else, you said you can't want justice and still want revenge at the same time. I want revenge on Dylan Roof. He got to go.
Okay.
Go. He got to go.
But this is my thing, though. Do you really want revenge? Because okay. No, wait. Hear me out. This is my thing about Christians. You believe that when you die, you go to heaven and it's perfect and in this big mansion in the sky and everything is great. You gonna send him to that as opposed to leaving him in jail for the next 40 years getting beat up by every black person he walks by?
Who believes, but Christians also believe in hell. I don't think somebody that kills 9 people in church is going to heaven.
We're not
gonna go there today. So also
Christians. Think about it like this too, Mara. So we just talked about it on the abortion thing. You're like, I'm suing. You have no standing. You want revenge on this man, and you can't. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You have no standing with Dylan Roof. You have no relationship. It's the same exact situation.
You gotta go.
But you want him dead, though.
Yes.
For me, I don't want to be the type of person that's like literally wishing death on people, especially to the point that it's in a manner that I wouldn't do it myself, right? So if you kill somebody close to me and I'm not going to pull the trigger myself, then that's just revenge. That's not justice. So justice is me, you pop whoever, cousin, whoever, and I come for you, and now eye for an eye. But to me, And I don't know, I've heard people do this. It's better if you just kidnap the person and like cut them open, put sugar in the wounds, pour some ants on them, let the ants eat the wounds, leave them like that for a couple days, weeks, however, until they just waste away. There are better ways
You heard about that?
to get revenge. I mean, I don't know where I heard it.
Okay.
Maybe a book or
Well,
something.
Well, and
A book or something.
for those of you who watch the ads, you know, we had the author of we had the author of Diabolical Tales of Woe, and you'll see you can read a lot of other, you know, stuff like that.
Crazy
Things like that in the book. But here's my thing. Maybe you're just a better person than me.
No.
Because I believe in things being fair. You know what I'm saying? Like those people you talked about. You asked me.
Life is not fair.
Life is
not fair.
You asked me why did I want the people that raided the Capitol to get shot? You know why? Because if me and Lab and Rika raided that Capitol, guess what would have happened? We'd have got wet t-shirt contest. And speaking of
Is that the world you want to live in though?
Yes. Speaking of wet t-shirt contest, you know the one white lady that got shot when she was trying to raid the Capitol, trying to go through it. Did you know the guy that shot her was a black man?
Yeah.
And he got off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was the winner of the wet t-shirt contest, and the brother got it. What I didn't like about it though, they put his name and his face out there. So I think
of course
he did it.
So people could target him. They had
he did
to.
an interview too.
Yeah, but he might be, you know, we need to watch over that brother, you know.
Yeah.
They don't let us just take victories like that. Think about all the people in St. Louis that came up missing. You know what I'm saying? You think they might not try to touch that? Yeah, you think they may not try to touch that brother?
Yeah.
Or he might mysteriously, and I ain't wishing none of this on him, but COVID or something
Just wishing
else
protection. Yeah.
You know, you said COVID and you talk about the people at the Capitol. It brought something else to mind when it comes to this abortion thing. Those same people that are talking about my body, my choice when it comes to the mask and everything like that, they don't have the same viewpoint when it comes to the abortion issue. And the crazy part about it is the my mask, my choice directly affects other people around you every day. Directly affect. There's no two ways about it, where the abortion is much more of a personal decision. It really, I mean, it affects that person. It might affect their family or whatever. I'm sure it does.
You know,
but
well, I got to pay taxes. I gotta help take care of that child. You know, yeah, it's
no. So the thing is people use religion as a weapon, and since their religion is against it, they've decided that they can use that religion, or they're standing as a Christian in the very loosest sense of the term, because they're okay with killing people with the death penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
They're okay with not wearing masks.
Hold on. So, for those who don't know, Erika she's a witch, right? You're a bruja. She's wicked. So, I don't know about you, but all the witches I seen in the movies, they weren't nice, except for what the one witch on the Wiz. You know what I'm saying? The good witch. So and wicked.
How many black people survived in movies?
Huh?
Alyssa Milano was cool. And
hey, and while y'all playing, I know we the blackest radio show on the internet. I used to love Charm, dog. I used to watch.
Everybody loved Charm. Everybody loved Charm.
Like it was a syndication in college. I was watching Charm like every morning.
It was the first show that cast witches in a different light. Like, you're supposed to be afraid of witches and all this other stuff, but that's just religion, right? So Christianity has launched this attack against like everybody else. But that's the history of religion. They're like, oh, Protestants are bad, we're after them. Oh, these people are bad, we're after them. Catholics are under attack. Like, Jews are under attack. Like, there's literally been like an attack on like all these religions just because somebody decided that theirs was better and right, and we just choose not to participate in all of that because we're better.
Talk about that because a lot of the things that we were told, like voodoo. Remember how we came up with it? Voodoo was black magic and it was bad.
Voodoo,
voodoo, whatever you want to call it. Those three, all of that. Worshiping our ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that our ancestors did before we
In
came
Africa.
here, they made it seem as if that's bad, that's evil.
Well, they had to.
Because why? Because we got a source of strength from there, and then they gave us. And you talk you have been hypercritical of Christianity. I will say this: because Lab's a PK, so I know he has a different view than us, right?
Mm.
I'm hypercritical of white Christianity. I'm hypercritical of the Christianity that was given to us as slaves, because Christianity predates slavery. The story of the son being resurrected and coming back, that story's been told for years.
Who wrote that story?
That you can go to Egypt. You talk about Horus and Osiris. That whole story,
Yeah, that ain't the same.
it just changed throughout the years. So Christianity predated the former Christianity that was given to us by master is not the Christianity that I ascribe to.
If you go to, they have Christian churches in Africa
Yes,
that were established well before the transatlantic slave trade. And if you look at it, all of them depict pictures of Jesus and all them. They're black,
right,
or brown skin. I mean, they are.
But see, but this is where you get me the Jesus thing. Horus, Osiris, yes. Jesus, when the letter J didn't even exist back then, no. Yahweh,
Right.
Yes.
But that's correct. That's just natural translation. You call somebody James now, 1,000 years ago, his name wouldn't have been James, right? You translate it. I mean, that's just how life works.
My problem is not with the translation, it's who's doing the translating. King James was a pedophile. Like, why are we listening to him? And he left out a lot of scriptures and a lot of words. So now you have to question who's giving you your information.
This is the thing, and I hate to go back. Therefore, I mean, based on today's standards, some of your great grandparents were pedophiles too. I mean, straight up, for real. Yes. So I mean, do you say I'm not going to follow this family lineage? I don't have anything to do with it because I mean, no, that's just how it was a different time, different circumstances.
So no.
Some of y'all
you can say I'm not going to listen to them.
Y'all can't give up the Pied Piper, so I know y'all ain't giving up your grandpa. You know what I mean?
Or if your grandpa did, it was I mean,
Papa, Meemaw, all of them.
I mean, it's all.
Yeah,
but
we
know as a right,
we probably have a whole show on religion.
Man, it wouldn't even be a show. It would have to be a series, bro. Like because that's. Arika's right. You go back, a lot of the wars, a lot of the boundaries that separate countries, all that originated from one religion versus another. And so the way, what's going on in the Middle East, heck, what's going on over here in North America, a lot of that is based on religion too. So it's something that goes far beyond us.
Religion has always been weaponized. Right?
Yes.
You look at when Africa was invaded, they didn't go in with the military. They came in with the clergy. We just want to talk to you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And then we find out they come in and then they give an intel to the military to help facilitate, taking over the country. So we know that religion's been weaponized, and we can see right now, just bringing it full circle back to what we started this whole show about, is being weaponized again as a means to push forward an agenda that we know can be somewhat hypocritical. So I hope that people put forward a good fight, because I am for women's rights. I do believe that women deserve the choice to decide what's going to go on with their body, and we as men have no grounds to say anything about that, especially not the white men who are making these decisions. I don't think that we have any grounds to say anything about that at all. So I am hoping that here in my current home state, that the ACLU and the different types of organizations, lobbying organizations that fight, legal organizations that try to fight things like this, they are successful. Because you're right, Arika, I see it being very bad for that young sister who, that young sister Brenda, who ends up throwing the baby in the trash can, like Pac talked
Man.
about. That could
Yeah.
be very real. That could be very real.
Yeah.
You know,
Will be.
or she bleeds out because she went to some, you know, crack, some old kook doctor.
Janky place.
Yeah, some kook doctor that got her on the table, you know, with the wire hanger. It could just be all bad, you know. So we really, really, really need to try to do what we can to get this together. And we can talk about this all night, but I think we talked about it enough. Y'all make sure y'all follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at manlistenshow Show. Make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, tell people to follow us, and we'll holler at you next time. Peace.
Peace.
See, what up?